All right, guys, Anthony here, Subaru Service. Josh's truck, cab up. We're getting ready to power wash it, but before I clean it, it's really time to look over some stuff. It does look like coolant pump. Of course, we'll take the pulley off and we'll see that later. Not a big deal. It's probably a coolant pump leaking. But look here. See how wet that is right there on the back? Right way back there at the end of the screwdriver, all the way there. And then look how dry it is there, right there. So, what that's pointing to me, front crank seal leaking. I mean, you can see it's been leaking for a bit. Needed to show this before we power wash, because I'm going to power wash the hell out of it and eliminate any, well, most any indication that it was even leaking. So, look at that belt. Well, that's been seen better days. You know, AC belt could have not been changed soon enough. Now, if we do a front crank seal, probably wouldn't mind putting a regulator in right here. This is how jobs compound. This is how they get start off, just want to do a little bit, and then we look, and I mean, that's pretty evident right there. See that surface right here? That's the front cover. Well, that's not the, that's the oil pump cover right there. And then look how nasty it is down there. See the difference? Way back in there by the tip of my finger. So that just about warrants taking off the balancer, new balancer bolts, taking the oil pump off. I mean, we don't have to take the pump off, but I mean, I probably would go ahead and get the pump off. That way, put a new seal on it. Just, it's not the pump cover, but whatever. I mean, we might as well do it. The seal is pretty cheap if we're going that far in. Put a regulator in it and front crank seal. That might help a hell of a lot with the oil leak. Now, is that the only oil leak? Can we say, hey, it's not the oil pan, it's not the upper oil pan, it's not anything, it's not with the front cover leaking? No, I can't say that this front crank seal is the only leak, but I can tell you this front crank seal is a leak. So, you know, while we're here right now, we might just go ahead and do that. I'm also planning on replacing all of the exhaust manifold bolts. Now, that's my plan. I don't think I've talked to you about it, Josh, but that is my plan. I've lifted many cabs because of broken exhaust manifold bolts on 6.4s. So if they're all good right now, it's a damn good time. My opinion on this is, okay, if you look, there's the bolt on the 6.4. That's the same bolt that's on a 6 liter. You see how they incorporated the spacer? You can't even really see it here, but there's the 6 liter has got a little flange right here with a spacer that's probably made out of the same material as the bolt. Well, you know, my opinion is we got heat and expansion and contraction rates that the manifold will contract more than the spacer that's put on the 6 liter. Now, why I'm saying that on the 6 liter is because 6 liter very rarely has broken exhaust manifold bolts. I mean, it's not common. The torque spec on a 6 liter is 28 foot-pounds, and we never break them. My opinion is that when these bolts were put in from the factory, they were tightening these to 28 foot-pounds also. Well, if you look at the book now, the torque spec now is 18 foot-pounds. So they dropped 10 foot-pounds off the torque of the 6.4 exhaust manifold bolt. So, I mean, that right there, you know, that warrants anytime we get close to one, take all the, I mean, we'll have to take the compressor off, take some stuff off. I mean, it's worth doing. Take it all off, get new bolts, clean it up, get the manifolds off. I mean, it's worth it. And hopefully, now that's the question, okay? Because if you don't want us to do it, we will not do it. We cannot do it. Because if a bolt breaks off trying to take it off, I mean, that's not going to be free. So, you know, but if a bolt does break off trying to loosen it off, I'm telling you what, your days are numbered, because those bolts will wind up. It's common. I mean, it's common. I have raised many cabs because you can't really get in to drill them out if they break off flush with the head. So, you know, it's going to be a gamble. It's going to be a gamble, but if it was my truck, I can absolutely tell you for sure I'd be taking them off. But we can overlook it if you want. I mean, we can do that. Let's see, front crank seal. We're gonna do the undercover harness. I'm just looking at all his flex joints. They appear to be all right. I mean, we didn't have a big boost issue going on with this, so. Dipstick looks pretty dry. Looks like the oil pan could have been leaking a little bit. We got a little bed plate going on there. You see how it's wet along the bed plate. A little leaking up top too. Maybe, who knows? See how wet it is right there too? Could be the undercover harness leaking also. We're going in to replace the undercover harness. Now who knows further down, you know, it's just an oil leak. I mean, this wasn't a profound oil leak. It wasn't something really big that, you know, was a complaint. But, you know, while we're here, it's time to look, keep your eyes open and address stuff. Because the fact that that's all glistening, well, some of that is just cooling from us, but that it's all glistening right there and it stops, kind of says, hey, we might have an undercover harness physically leaking oil. There you come. I mean, it could happen. But, all right. I mean, I don't know what else we got. Just throwing some stuff around. Mainly wanted to show right as the cab came off. So, yep, that's it. All right, guys, have a good day.